Hi everybody, Ryan here from Cold Harbor Supply. We are here at SHOT Show 2024 at the Nocturn Industries booth. These guys have been making a pretty huge splash in American-made night vision housings, and they have quite the spread for us today. There's going to be a lot to go over, so it's going to be very exciting for our viewers. Here we have Jeff. Jeff, you want to introduce yourself over here?
I'm Jeff. I am the CEO and co-owner of Nocturn Industries. I am one of the designers as well. My counterpart, Nick, is not here right now. He's walking the floor. I'll mention some of the stuff he's been focusing on too.
Yeah, so we have a lot in front of us, especially coming into the new year. It's going to be quite the amount of products, so let's get started.
I'll start small. So we've got our new bikini covers. They're just, off the shelf, just a kind of a accessory. We want to start getting into accessories, so people will start seeing more of that stuff later in the year.
Old ones that you've gotten us.
Yeah, so these are now branded.
Nice.
And it's just a standard cover with a pinhole in the end.
Oh, that's a pinhole now?
Yes.
So, nice. That's awesome.
Those are available now. Our battery pack is out. We announced this a long time ago. We've been selling this for a little while now too, but it has a Fisher port on the side now instead of hardwired, which some people had seen it was hardwired in the past.
So it's detachable.
It's detachable.
That's really nice. So if you take your nods off, you can just run that just as a weight on the back.
As a counterweight, yeah. So it holds 4 CR123A batteries. You get up to 96 plus hours of runtime on this on a bino. It has 2 power banks, left and right. You have 3 positions on the switch. You have off is center, and then you have your right power bank and your left power bank.
Okay.
Each one gets you 48 hours.
Okay.
It runs off of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 batteries.
Okay.
So if you have 1 battery installed, it'll keep running. The other 4 can be pulled out and used in other stuff.
Okay.
So if your battery dies in your optic or in a flashlight, you can just pull one out, throw it in, you're good to go, and this will still run your system. We have multiple cables. This one here would be a Fisher to LEMO 0B 4-pin, which is the standard Anvis plug, one of the most common connectors.
Super common, yeah.
And then a Fisher on this end. We chose this because it's also common for battery packs to have a Fisher, the other one being a LEMO, but L3, everybody's familiar with this. So we chose this because our Chimera system is converting most often GPMEGs, which runs off of a L3 battery pack, so our customers would be needing a cable to plug into their pack. And then on the other end, we have various cables. Like I said, we have the LEMO.
This one I'm very excited about. This is very interesting.
So these are the same, except this one is just half the size. So all of our systems now are going to ship with the LEMO. It's no longer an option, except for the legacy stuff, like a PBS 15 Anvis. But everything new will have this connector already on it. So it's a much smaller connector. It's only 2 pins. We chose a smaller connector because it makes everything lighter weight, more compact. The last one would be a Fisher to Fisher, which is common. You can get those anywhere.
Okay. So you're making this really so that it's compatible with a slew of other housings that aren't even yours.
Yes, exactly. So we wanted this to be a battery pack somebody could buy and use and not be proprietary to our systems.
We've actually had a few and we've sold some of them, and what I really like about them, I don't think you pointed out, but it's actually got like these little retention tabs.
Yeah.
Which is cool because oftentimes you have a battery pack is just Velcro only, so it actually will come with these little, I think you made them out of Tegris?
Yes, it has Tegris. The lanyard point, it loops through here on a bungee, and then it attaches to the helmet where the screw is to hold your rail in. It's optional, you don't have to use it. It comes with Velcro on the back. It was also designed specifically to fit in the same pouch as a 31 pack from L3. So pouches that are already out there, this will work in. It's also submersion rated, so you can swim with this.
Okay, cool.
It's completely sealed. You unscrew the cap and there's a big, huge O-ring underneath here. So yeah, this is submersible.
Really awesome. So accessories aside, unless you have anything else, any other accessories you're working on to show us? Oh, actually, you do. You have this. This is something that they just announced today. I think I saw it walking through your booth in the morning just a few hours ago. So what is this
he's
guy?
here. Hold on. Nick, get over here. You can talk about this one.
So now we got Nick here. He's the designer of the new mount they got. We just saw this morning, so it's pretty exciting. Nick, you want to go over it? It's pretty disruptive. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, so this is the Nocturn Industries Alpha Mount. This is new, SHOT 2024.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's very light, 75 grams, about half the weight of a Wilcox G24.
Nice.
1.4 inches forward and aft travel. So breakaway, 15 degrees of tilt, standard Wilcox dovetail.
Wow.
We are planning on releasing it in a powered and non-powered shoe variant. So that would, of course, mean that we would have...
That's a lot of future-proofing.
Yeah, goggle options potentially in the future that would...
This thing's really, really tiny. It makes the Nardos Losto look like a big boy. It's puny, yeah.
True.
Yeah, about this mount. So, export?
Yes,
So we can.
Well, we don't
potentially.
know yet. We have
Potentially.
It should. I
we'll
mean,
have to get a-
there's precedent,
There's
so
precedent. Okay.
the government will give us the say so, but for very likely.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Because this will be pretty cool. And the most important questions is when is this going to come out, and how much will it be?
We're shooting for sub 400 as far as when it's going to come out. Indeterminate. We're going to be shooting for this year. I'd like to get it out as soon as possible, but I do not want to rush it out. I want to make sure we get it correct on the first try. So
So this is the alpha mount. Super exciting. Did not expect this to come out. I didn't expect this for you guys.
that was the idea.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And it works with all your housings. It's pretty awesome. All right. So we're going to take it back now, I guess, to Jeff.
Yeah, that's his baby. So
That's his baby.
I had to make him talk about that.
We got Jeff back now. We're going to be going over the housings. So let's go over what's new and coming out for 2024.
The Katana. So you guys, the Katana's been our
It's our
first
best-selling
product
goggle, too.
from the beginning. We started with the Katana, which is our simplest and lightest weight bino. Sort of lightest weight on its own power. So you guys are all aware of the 3D printed version.
Yeah, that's
we
the
had the
version that's
Gen
out
1
right now.
way back in the beginning. We had the Gen 2, which was the additive manufactured, more refined, with
Yep.
had aluminum reinforcements in it.
Yep.
Now we're moving on to the Gen 3, and this will be what we go forward with for quite a few years. So this will be probably the last iteration of the Katana for a long time. So the Katana Ruggedized is coming in just under a pound, and that's a 70-75 aluminum system.
So it's
being
really rugged. It feels quite stiff and really rigid.
Some of the components are the same as the Manticore, the pods specifically.
Yeah.
The Manticore is a little heavier. We dropped the Manticore from 100 feet in the air from a drone multiple times.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
So the Katana has the same ruggedness. I'm just using that as an example because you can find that video online. The standard that we use for testing is 5.5 feet on concrete. We've been doing that even with the 3D printed systems. This is significantly stronger than that. But this is kind of old news now because we've teased this and announced it and talked about
It's
it.
actually already out. There's some people that already have
Sort
this.
of, yeah. It started to ship, but this is officially out at this point.
Cool.
This is housing is 2024, $2,024. No, it has nothing to do with the year. That's just how the numbers came in.
And you mentioned some electronics differences actually on the inside of this versus the older Katana.
Yes, and I'll go over that on the next item.
Okay, cool.
So the next one is exactly the same internally.
May I pick it up?
Yes,
one
except
looks
this
the
is our Gen 3 Katana in polymer. It is no longer additive manufactured. It is now an injection molded, true night vision system.
Also really rigid. It's actually the same rigidness. It feels like there's no flex on it, the same as this with the plastic one.
The polymer one is 14.1 ounces. That's fully built.
Wow, quite a bit lighter.
Of course, the caveat is there's lightweight optics in there, but in comparison, lightweight to lightweight, similar optic train as the 31 Alpha, but and the polymer, instead of a lot of companies use like Ultim, we chose to use some more modern materials. It's a nylon material, but it has a hybrid mix of materials. It's a hybrid mix composite.
I see.
That gets you the strength and the stiffness that you need.
Nice.
It has the same tensile strength as 6061 grade aluminum.
Wow. Okay.
But still ultra lightweight.
Yeah. So will these all come with the LEMO ports?
Yeah. So everything now comes with a LEMO 00B. The other thing that you mentioned is the circuitry differences.
Yeah.
So it now has a low battery indicator.
Awesome.
Everything I say about this is the same as the ruggedized version too.
Nice.
So low battery indicator that will blink when the battery's low in both eyes.
Nice.
The power switch now powers the system on and off if you have a battery pack connected. So previously,
Yeah, this is a question that we get a lot about. Can I run on both power supplies at the same time?
now you can.
I see.
So actually now you have to have a battery on board
the battery
for the system to even work. Yes. So the main power is the battery that's on board. When you plug in a battery pack, it's an auxiliary power, which gives you an extended runtime for whatever pack you're using. It's circuit protected, so you can use a AA pack, you can use a CR123A pack.
Nice.
It doesn't matter.
Nice. Very
So the power switch on the pack will just turn the pack on and off. It won't affect the system unless, well, yeah, actually, you can't even turn the system on.
So it'll run through this battery and then it'll run through the ones in the back?
The back first.
Back first and then this.
If you have,
Okay.
You need the battery on board to start the circuit, because now, because the battery cap is the button, in order to do that, now you have to have a battery to complete the circuit and to start the system.
I see.
But once you plug the battery pack in, that will run off the pack.
I see.
And then if the pack dies, it automatically goes back to the onboard power.
Well, can't say this for all goggles, but there's your guys' answer for if you can run both the onboard and the offboard for Nocturne stuff. Yeah.
If you want a battery pack, now you have to run it with both.
So what's the ETA and the pricing on this guy?
So this is our T1 sample. This is off the mold. This is not 3D printed. A lot of people show 3D printed stuff.
Nice.
As the the sample before they have the parts. These are the actual molded parts.
So this is a production prototype.
Close. So there's a couple different materials. We want to drop test this first. So we need to make sure that what we choose meets our standard. This is the second strongest material. It's also the most dense. So this can actually get lighter. If the other materials pass our testing, we will go for the lighter one. Or cost effective. It depends. If it's like a gram lighter, we're going to go with the cheap.
Yeah, there's ratios to these things.
And we've lowered the price.
Nice.
Original Katana Gen 2.
It's a rare thing in 2024.
It's roughly $1,800. This one is $1,550
Awesome.
MSRP. So this will be more competitive with some of the other systems on the market. And it's US made, lifetime warranty still. Yeah, the whole idea of the Katana molded is to replace the old one and basically be our higher volume, still very high quality, high performing product, but easy, simple, it's still no aluminum or anything. It's just the simple, what people are used to on that.
All right, so we're going to take a look at some of their more feature-rich housings now. We know the Katana is one of their more Spartan and really simple housings, but what makes the Katana great is the simplicity. The Manticore is something that we have been anticipating for a really long time. We have quite a few on order. I really want to make this my personal housing, actually, in a lot of ways. When I first saw it, it checked a lot of boxes. Let's go over this guy.
So the Manticore, a lot of people know about this already. It is our new flagship product. It's got digital controls on it. You've got power, IR, and manual gain. The way we did this, though, this system, we wanted the electronics to kind of stand out and be more refined to the end user. So we spent a lot of time focusing on that. The tactile feel of the buttons, how far they stick out, being able to use it with a gloved hand, but not too much that you can accidentally hit them. Not too hard to press, but not too soft, so that when you go underwater, at 66 feet, there's a lot of pressure. If they were too soft, well, you could potentially push the buttons, right? And the way the controls work. So powering on and off, it's press and hold on, press and hold off. The IR is double tap on, single tap off, so you can't accidentally turn it on.
What's nice is the press to hold on power, because there's some housings out there that have a power button, and I've seen them turn off accidentally in people's bags and things like that. So that kind of press and hold is much more intentional. I like that a lot.
And the gain, so there's another digital system. It's a PVS 14 type power supply.
The Nightline supply.
Yes.
Yeah, that thing's pretty
so
cool.
it's a good one. The only thing I don't like about it is when you're trying to select a gain level, it's cycling up and down constantly when you push the button instead of a step. So it's hard to get it right where you want. So I'm not knocking that at all. It works really well. I wanted it to have smaller gaps so you can really fine-tune the gain setting you want. So if you tap it, it'll truly go a single step. If you hold it, it will cycle. It is, yes. When you turn it off and turn it back on, it stays where the gain was last left. So you press and hold, it'll cycle up in steps, but slowly. So you can ramp it up where you want. Or click, 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 and it'll step up. I think it's there's 20 steps from bottom.
Just about to ask, okay.
So those are the controls. You have an IR loom in the center. We chose to go with a blacked out IR loom so that you can't see the glow with the naked eye. We're not the first company to do that. We just kind of adopted it from others.
Got to check off that box.
It's one of our. It's if you're going to do an IR loom, I want to do it right. Other companies did it right. So I noticed it first on the RNVG. They have it like that, and it was a good idea. Good on them for doing that. Again, like we said, LEMO port on everything.
Interesting that the
LEMO
port
00B.
It's offset actually. That's pretty cool.
Well, we still have it underneath, so that when you plug your cable in, you can run it up and through between the mount. IPD stops have been improved. It's the same basic thing as the Katana. They all have the same IPD stop design. It's a force to overcome.
The new ones feel a lot harder. They feel much stiffer.
We found a better way to do it. Over time. We figured it out. So it's still a force to overcome. If you want to reset it, you push it up, just force it past, come back down, and then you just set it where you want. It's still a a very
decent
positive
stop,
stop.
yeah.
But if you were to slam into this, it'll give like that, and it won't break your system, and you just reset it, bring it back down, put it where you want.
This is something that I didn't really see before, though. This one is a Manticore, but it's the lightweight version.
Yeah. So same thing as the Katana and Katana ruggedized. You have the Manticore and Manticore ruggedized. So the UA-NVB FC is Ultralight articulated night vision binocular, full control for the controls, and then FCR is full control ruggedized.
Makes sense.
So this is an earlier model. We've shown this before. So what you'll see is the pods are the same design.
Nice.
The bridge will look exactly like this bridge, but made out of polymer,
I see.
and it'll be these molded pods.
And what's the weight difference between the two, the polymer versus the aluminum?
418 grams or 14.7 ounces.
That's with lightweight lenses?
That is the lightweight version with the injection molded.
Nice.
And the aluminum one is 16.3 ounces or 463 grams.
Very, very impressive for a extremely full, well, for a full feature goggle. It's got manual gain, IR illuminator, push button controls, IPD stops.
And if you haven't seen it, we did put a video up on our YouTube. We dropped this from 100 feet out of a drone, twice.
Nice.
Powered on, everything worked fine. The system is rugged. And then I'll go to one last housing on the binos, and that's the Samurai.
This is your super lightweight external power only option, right?
Yes. So this is the aluminum one.
It's going to be an
It's actually really close to weight as to the Katana,
right.
ruggedized. But the difference is it's lighter than the Manticore, but about the same as the Katana because it has illuminator and gain control. But all that stuff's been removed and put in the pack. Now we've talked about this for a while. This is finally actually coming out this year.
Yes.
We finished the pack design. We finished the design of the actual housing itself.
Wow, this is really light. Aluminum housing. This doesn't feel like aluminum housing in my hand.
We have a injection molded as well as
Yeah.
the aluminum one. Same deal. The injection molded one is going to come in at $22.74.
And that comes with a battery pack, of
with the
course.
battery pack. It has to. You have to run this with a pack, similar to Anvis or the Low 21, except your controls are on the battery pack.
Right.
So the idea behind that is if you're using a weapon, you can stay on your controls, your fire control, your selector, and still make adjustments with your non-dominant hand.
Oh, so the controls are on this side over here.
Yeah, so gain is on the left and power is on the right.
I see. So this is a variable gain device.
Yes. Aluminum version is $25.74.
Okay. And the weight on the aluminum version is going to be?
That is going to be 428 grams or 15 ounces.
Wow, very light, very, very light for aluminum housing.
And for the polymer version, it's 388 grams or 13.6 ounces.
So under 400 gram binocular housing.
Yes.
That's pretty incredible. So another question, just regarding the manual gain on your tubes, because I know some people are going to ask, are you guys using a 3-pin tube or are you guys using a pigtail tube?
So we're not actually using a 3-pin pad. We're using a 4-pin pad.
Okay.
The reason is L3 has a floating ground, or
Yes.
sorry, the EGAC ground and the ground for the tube are two separate channels.
Yes.
So we had to use 4. Now, our adapter for the tube allows you to use 3-pin tubes, standard EGAC tubes from L3 and standard EGAC tubes from Elbit.
Nice.
Unfortunately, EGAC tubes from Photonis are permanent to the housing.
But Photonis, you just get a 3-pin tube anyways.
You can get a 3-pin tube, and that's fine.
Yeah, I've always loved your guys' housing because they're easy on the builders, which makes a huge difference in terms of turnaround time.
One of the things with that is, so just so people understand, the pigtail or EGAC is the little plug that comes off the back of the tube that enables manual gain.
I'll probably put a picture of it right here.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole video on how to do the whole setup and assembly. But it turns it into like a 10160 style where you just drop it right inside the housing.
Very nice.
The reason we did that is it keeps the system lighter and lower profile. So
Nice.
that cutout there and that short, tiny profile is because we chose to do that.
Yeah, because if you see some other companies' nods, they have a bit of a height there.
Tall, they usually have screws there so you can pull it off. Yeah, that's why.
What people don't realize is having a tall goggle means you actually lose points of adjustment on your mount. When the goggle's really tall, you have to either max out your mount or move it around a lot, and you lose that fine adjustment.
It also adds weight to the system too. You have more material.
Exactly. So this is a really, really smart design system to get around that issue. The Tanto ecosystem of products seems to be expanding a lot, which is pretty cool.
So that was the idea. We wanted that to this will continue to grow as a product line. So people who are getting into the Tanto
You're
side
buying
of
into
things.
an ecosystem.
Exactly, yeah. So we have plans to later do a thermal version of the Tanto, which will work on the Daisho bridge.
Thermal version?
Yes. Little Easter egg for you guys.
This is new for me. I did not know they were going to do a thermal version, but for all of you hybrid vision enjoyers out there, that's pretty exciting. I saw somebody doing some pretty crazy setups with the Tanto, doing like weird bridges, but having an in-house option is going to be great.
He actually reached out. If it's the same person I'm thinking of, he reached out to us and asked permission. And I was like, yeah, man, I love DIYers. Like, go for it.
Are you going to move this onto injection molding as well?
Potentially down the road. If the volume's high enough and the demand's high enough, we will move that direction. The MJF additive is durable enough, strong enough, and it can be produced for a low enough cost that we can use it as a viable option, and it works well. We've had very, very, very little return rates on anything MJF.
Well, what's funny is we actually use a Tanto as our building rig to test our tube imaging rig because it's so simple, and that thing has probably seen thousands of tubes installed to it, and it still works, which is just goes to show that this
they're
stuff's
super
great.
simple. They're hardwired right to the CR123. It's literally as simple as an Anvis. An exciting announcement. So expanding on the whole, Tanto line, we have now the Anvis version of the Tanto.
Very unexpected, but very cool. Anvis lenses are really nice lenses for those who don't know.
We've had quite a few people ask for these.
Yeah.
This will be available specifically from a particular dealer, at least starting out, that they can get here in the U.S.
Okay.
Not saying that it's only going to be available through them, but that it will pop up there first, and that's going to be through RTK.
Okay, fair.
They're also going to have a PVS 15 version of this.
Okay. So a lot of these legacy guys can get some pretty interesting upgrades for their units without changing the tubes of the glass.
Yes, exactly. So if somebody has an old 15 or an old Anvis and they want two monoculars, or they want the ability to divide out, they can go to this system instead of a dedicated bino.
Well, this is a really nice option. We've had a lot of success with the Daisho and Tanto combo because people just start out with something and they go into something more. I see, however, you are doing some new bridges, which is pretty cool. This is a bit of a batarang.
So we have the pan to Daisho. It's fixed pan. It articulates. It still has the same features where it turns on and off when you articulate it out and in. We start out collimated on the the parallel bridge.
Yeah.
And then when you swap over to this bridge, it remains collimated. Yes, so as long as it's properly collimated on the straight bridge. So the builder can collimate it on a straight bridge and then put it on the panned bridge and ship it.
Yeah, collimation is super important on these panning systems because when they're not collimated, you actually see off axis. It's super noticeable.
End users that own the parallel one, they can buy the panned version and just hot swap over.
Right, depending on what they feel like.
Yeah, they got to keep the left and right on the same side. But
yeah, we always mark that in the reports that we give to people when we sell the goggles. So that's pretty cool. Is there an ETA on this in pricing wise?
Price will be the same.
Okay, so the same as the other.
ETA is going to be less than 2 months.
Awesome.
We just we're placing the PO for the actual bridge now. As soon as we get back. I didn't have time to place it before we left.
No worries, man.
But the design's exactly the same. It's just panned out. That's all.
Right.
Parts are the same. We have everything in stock except for the bridge itself, the actual bridge.
And I guess the last question is, what made you decide on this panning angle? Like what angle
We're
is this panned
actually
at?
able to do multiple angles. So you'll be able to buy a 10, 15, or 20.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have all three. And you can choose the angle you want.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Some people, they want 20. Some
Yeah.
people, that's too much. They only want a little bit.
Yeah, it depends how much overlap you want in the image. And now I guess the last product, probably what everybody's been waiting for, the coolest knot on the planet, which is going to be the Chimera. This thing is pretty awesome.
We took orders for these back in April for the bridge itself, and we put a hold on it, and we appreciate everyone that was really patient about that. The reason we put a hold on it was originally made of polymer. We didn't feel that the polymer was as strong as it could be, and we didn't feel that the tension was enough. So, like for the articulation, we didn't want, when you're running, you don't want these to fall down.
Because they're much heavier than normal goggle pods.
Exactly. So we moved over to aluminum. It's still a weight savings over the original bridge.
Right.
It's much more durable now and rugged. It's much stiffer. The articulation is a lot stiffer.
Feels really glassy smooth and really stiff.
Price didn't change, same price. So those of you that waited, you paid the same price, but you got a higher quality product. Added a power button instead of the illuminator in the center, like the ones that people saw advertised. So we have a power button. Still have a pigtail 00B connector.
Awesome.
It'll work. We have a cable that'll work with the Fisher port. or a LEMO port. It comes with a battery pack though.
Okay.
So it'll have the cable and the pack that you need.
So these are originally designed for GPN VG18 pods.
Yes, it's also available for Lindu,
Yes.
Anvis 10, and it will be available for the Argus.
Okay, very, very cool. And a lot of people are asking, but when are your guys' Chimera pods coming? Because I know you guys want to offer this as a full unit as well.
We unfortunately had about a year delay because of some supply chain issues with developing the glass.
Well, the aspherical glass is pretty, not many people can do it properly.
Well, I mean, it's what we're doing is we're actually using standard glass, standard manufactured PVS 14 type glass on the front and back.
Really?
But it has to be truncated and fused.
Interesting.
So we have to work with vendors who are able to do that and willing to do that. We've found a path forward for that. We're expected to get samples around the March timeframe.
Okay.
And after that, it's just going to be, going through, finishing up the design itself for production versus proof of concept, and getting it into production. So we're expecting to have this in the summertime. Same time as last year, except this year we actually have a vendor that's agreed to do this. Yes.
Okay, cool.
And in the U.S.
Yeah, so people are really excited about your version of the completed Chimera with the bridge and everything like that. And is the pods for your Chimera unit, are they going to be 3D printed or are they going to be injection molded?
We're actually very, very seriously considering doing aluminum.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So we were going to do 3D printed, but because of what we've been able to do with the other aluminum systems and getting the weight so low, we're just going to machine them.
Okay, well, that's a lot of products, everybody. That's a lot of stuff. This video is going to be a doozy to edit. Jeff, thank you so much. We got to wrap things up here. You guys got a lot to do. And that's it for Nocturn Industries, the SHOT Show. Pretty huge array of things, and we're super excited to be working with them in the future.